They were outscored, outpitched, and downright outplayed during the regular season. And yet, what if I told you that very same group went on to win the World Series? Sounds impossible, right? Well, that's exactly what happened with the 1987 Minnesota Twins. They shattered expectations, toppled the so-called best team in baseball, and overcame a 3-2 deficit in the World Series to win their first ever title. But how did they pull it off? And why did whispers of cheating swirl around their unlikely run to glory? The 1986 Twins struggled to string wins together, developed an inability to win close games, and in the end finished 6th in the AL West. But entering the offseason, there was reason to be optimistic. They had 5 players club at least 20 home runs, and a pitching staff that boasted a few solid arms. Together, alongside the arrival of closer Jeff Reardon and a total revamp of the team's logo, uniform, and front office, they set out in the 1987 campaign ready to exceed expectations. And from the very beginning, it was Kirby Puckett who stole the show.
Swung on a long drive to left, way back, a home run! Home run for Kirby Puckett.
He grabbed the lead with a 2-run homer, and in extras, he took one away.
Back goes Puckett at the fence, and he leaps, he got it! Oh, what a catch!
With his contributions on both sides of the ball, it allowed Kent Hrbek to carry them over the finish line.
A single for Hrbek, scoring on Cardozi, and the Twins pull it out to win it 5-4.
Everything went to plan in the opener. The bats displayed their lead pop, the revamped bullpen looked sturdy, and the win foreshadowed a dominant first half.
Yeah, that's big trouble. Whoa, out of here. Touch a ball, Randy Bush.
Twins lead 5-1 on a 2-run single to right center by Tommy Nieto.
That's hit deep to right field. And the ball game is over.
The Twins had their rally caps on.
Kirby Puckett, Kent Hrbek, Gary Gaetti, and Tom Bernansky took charge on the offensive side, while Frank Viola, Bert Blyleven, and Jeff Reardon dominated on the mound. Together, they led the Twins to a 49-40 record by the All-Star break, good enough for a 2-game lead over the Kansas City Royals. With a few games left in the season, it was anyone's for the taking. But in the latter half, their bats were unable to keep pace, averaging almost half a run less per game. With this steep turn, the team started to spiral, most notably losing 9 of 10 games in mid-August. The spark that catapulted them to success was seemingly gone. Thankfully for them though, the Royals also struggled to keep pace in the final months, allowing the Twins to narrowly hold on to the division.
Plays behind him, and a little fly ball to the second baseman, Robert Rosie, the throw to first, they got it! The Twins win the championship!
Excitement filled the air in Minnesota as the Twins punched their ticket into October for the first time in 17 years. But through the jubilation, few believed they stood a chance in the playoffs. After all, both their offense and pitching staff ranked below average. They were outscored by their opponents and finished with only 85 wins, a figure which would have placed them 6th in the AL East. Yet, through all the doubts, the Twins had one crucial edge: home field advantage. Back then, it wasn't awarded by record. Instead, it was rotated between divisions each year. And in 1987, that quirk of the system fell perfectly in Minnesota's favor, as they were a completely different team at home.
We are at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, which has not been a favored ballpark for the opposition. In fact, to visiting teams, the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome is a sinister edifice. The primary cause of such trepidation is Minnesota's record at home this season. 56 up, 25 down.
But once they left Minneapolis, the magic vanished, as they stumbled to a miserable 29-52 mark on the road. Maybe they really did just enjoy playing at home, but others around the league voiced different opinions.
I know they have better cuts of curveballs that are pretty good curveballs at home than they do on the road, which leads me to one thing: maybe they're getting the signs.
Maybe they were stealing signs, or maybe it was only an excuse. But whatever it may have been, it gave the Twins an outside shot of defeating the heavily favored Detroit Tigers, especially as Gaetti got the home crowd roaring early.
Bush on deck. And here's a long high drive, dead center, Lemon back,
Gaetti hit 31 home runs during the regular season, and in his first playoff at-bat, continued to demonstrate his elite power with a towering shot to deep center field. And just a few innings later, he found the seats again.
He's going for number 2. It's way back. It's out of here. First pitch of the inning.
With his second home run in as many at-bats, Gaetti started the breakthrough inning for the Twins.
In comes Bush. Brunansky has a double. This might drop. It does. It's 4-1.
Brunansky and Gladden extended the lead, giving the Twins a 4-1 advantage. But before they could get comfortable with their lead, Kirk Gibson and the Tigers started to chip away.
2-1. And here's a long blast. Brunansky back. He's a spectator. No.
Gibson brought their deficit down to a pair, then the following inning, Mike Heath brought them a step closer.
They could tie the game. 1 run home. Puckett with a great arm, and they hold the others.
And in the 8th, the visitors were able to take their first lead of the night.
Trammell at second. Puckett charging. Play at third, no. Brunansky makes the catch in foul ground, so in theory he didn't have to catch that.
With not much game left to be played, time was wearing thin. Keeping this in mind, Gladden started the bottom of the 8th with a base hit, and he came around to score on a Kirby double.
Into the gap in left center field. Lemon chasing after, can't get it. It bounces off the plexiglass. Here comes the tying run. Play at the plate. Safe.
Who else but the face of the Minnesota Twins to deliver the clutch game-tying hit, igniting cheers throughout the stadium as fans urged the team to keep fighting.
That's a hit. 1 run is home. And here's a shot that'll add more runs. It gets in the gap. 2 are home.
Don Baylor reclaimed the lead, and Brunansky cushioned it with a run-scoring double. Thanks to the clutch contributions from these two veterans, the Twins secured the opener.
Minnesota wins it.
There are many Minnesota Twins who felt that this was a must game tonight, particularly in sending a message to the Tigers that, yes, the Metrodome is a very difficult place to play.
All season long, they faced accusations of stealing signs, and after Game 1, the Tigers pointed fingers at the umpires. It seemed like every time they won, critics always found a way to overlook the team's hard work. However, that would become increasingly more challenging as they carried over their offensive prowess into Game 2.
He'll have a double. Gaetti scores, and the Tiger lead is halved. And a drive down the left field line in there. 1 run home. A second headed for the plate. Travels relay. No. And that's a base hit through the hole. 1 run in. Relic sends the next one home. Ahead of Gibson's throw. It's 5-2.
Up against future Hall of Famer Jack Morris, the Twins scored early and often, capped off by a 5th inning shot from Herbeck.
Nobody on, last of the 5th. And this one is hit to deep left center. This one has got a chance. This one is gone.
Their bats were dominant once again, and to pair with them, Blyleven excelled on the mound, shutting down any chance of a comeback with 7 1/3 strong innings, giving the Twins a quick 2-0 series advantage as the stage shifted to Detroit. But first, a quick word for today's sponsor, BetterHelp. When I was playing soccer at a high level, I struggled with the fear of committing mistakes, making it very difficult to stand out in the professional game. The worst part, my coaches didn't really understand. They just tell me to get over it, which only made it worse. But everything changed when my club brought in a sports therapist. For the first time, I had someone who wasn't just dismissing me, but actually helping me through it. Within weeks, my confidence grew and I finally felt free when playing. That experience showed me just how powerful a therapist can be, and is where today's sponsor, BetterHelp, can make a difference. They're on a mission to make starting therapy easier. With over a decade of matching expertise, clinical experience, and your preferences, BetterHelp works to connect you with the right therapist. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch anytime at no extra cost. For me, the right therapist helped me find confidence when I felt stuck. And if you've ever felt stuck with advice that didn't help, BetterHelp makes it easier to find the right kind of support. You can get started today by clicking the link in my description or by visiting betterhelp.com/greenlight, and you will get 10% off your first month of therapy. Alright, thank you BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Now back to Game 3. Winning the first 2 games at home was crucial for the Twins, knowing their inability to find success on the road. And right away, those struggles became apparent.
Backhanded by Herbeck. He gets the force, and that's all. A run scores, 1-0 Tigers.
Ground ball in the infield. Would like to get out of this with one.
Did he ball? Yes, he did. And this one is drilled. Fair ball. Extra bases. 1 run home. Let's see if Lemon makes it. Grandma says, come on. Gladden has trouble with it in the corner. It's a double for Herndon, and the Tigers are close to breaking it open.
Down 5-0 in the third, the Twins had a mountain to climb. But similar to the Game 1 script, the visitors started to chip away at their deficit.
Quarterback. Gagne gets a hold of one. He sends Gibson way back, and it's out of here. And this ball is whacked over Evans for a hit. Herbeck is waved home. They'll have runners at first and third. It's a 5-2 game, only 1 out.
Greg Gagne and Randy Bush got the Twins on the board in the fourth, and Bernansky brought them within 1 a couple innings later.
This one is long gone. Gibson going back. Out of here. Brings the Twins to within 1.
They were still in the lead, but the momentum had clearly shifted in Minnesota's favor. Everyone felt it was only a matter of time before they completed their comeback.
That is a hit. A base hit for Gaetti. 1 run in. 2 runs in. And it's 6-5 Minnesota on the 5th hit of the series for Gary Gaetti.
They had done it. They battled their way back from 5-0 down to pull ahead. Now all they had to do was continue to suppress the Tigers' firepower. They got Gibson to strike out looking, Alan Trammell to pop up, and the same with Chet Lemon. But with a light hitting Pat Sheridan at the dish, Reardon let his guard down, leaving his first pitch squarely over the heart of the plate.
Sheridan drives one to deep right. Way back. It's on its way. And the Tigers have the lead. Look at this. Hello, room service. Can I have a fastball up right around the letters, maybe a little beneath, heart of the plate? And if you give it to me, I think I'll know what to do with it. I'll send it into the upper deck.
In the end, their hard-fought rally was all for naught. But their resilience proved one thing: they could compete on the road. And they looked to further establish this thought with a victory in Game 4.
Well, yesterday, the Twins had a 5-0 deficit that they overcame, the biggest comeback in a single LCS game. If they had won that game, they would have gone up 3-0. No one has ever lost after being ahead 3-0. So I think that probably the way they lost and the impact of the loss may have been greater than the loss itself.
With the pressure of letting their series lead slip, the Twins got to work, scoring in 4 straight innings to take a 4-2 lead entering the bottom of the 6th. At this point, with their ace on the mound, the Twins were firmly in command. However, with back-to-back singles by Lemon and Evans, the Tigers looked poised to strike back.
Lemon speeds to third. Runners at the corners. Nobody out. Opposite field base hit. They're within 1. Lemon scores. Evans stops at second. 3 straight singles for Detroit.
Their lead was cut to just 1, and following a sacrifice bunt to put Evans on third with 1 out, they were a fly ball away from tying the score, making the next at-bat the most pivotal of the game.
Hide at the corners. Throw to third. Out! They got Evans! Oh, and it doesn't happen often to an experienced base runner like Darryl. What a play by Laudner and Gaetti. Wow.
With Evans maneuvering too far off the bag, Twins catcher Tim Laudner was immediately able to capitalize on the mistake, and with it, helped secure his team victory in Game 5 to put them just 1 win away from the pennant.
And Tiger fans are chilled by the prospect that their team, with baseball's best record during the regular season, faces triple match point against the team with the worst record of all 4 postseason qualifiers. And now, Game 5.
As Bob Costas mentioned, the Tigers had the best record in baseball, while the Twins boasted by far the worst among the playoff teams. It was a miracle they even made it to this point, and yet here they were, ready to shock the baseball world.
In the series. This one's ripped to left, another hit. There could be a play at the plate. Reddick is waving him home, and Gibson with the weak arm just tosses into third. The game and maybe the season over for Doyle Alexander.
They jumped out to a quick 4-0 lead in the second, and while the Tigers would claw back within one, Game 5 proved to be just like the rest of the series, all Minnesota.
Pitch could be the last. Reardon has it. The Minnesota Twins are in the World Series. What an unlikely bunch of champions we're looking at here.
Against all odds, the Twins advanced to the World Series, but now stood an even more difficult task: the St. Louis Cardinals, a team that could beat you with its pitching, its speed, and of course their defense. Together, they overcame a 3-2 deficit in the championship series and looked poised to take home their second title in 6 years. And many believe this to be the outcome, as the Twins were quickly written off for their regular season struggles.
With the Minnesota Twins, who tonight become the first team in the history of baseball to go into the World Series having been outscored during the regular season. They were outscored, they were out-hit in terms of average, they were out-homered, the opposition had more stolen bases, and they were out-pitched in terms of earned run average. They were out everything, except at this point, there are 13 teams in the American League that are out of the World Series.
With this info in mind, it seemed like the Twins were in over their head, especially as the Cardinals jumped to a quick 1-0 lead in the second. But as they showed against the Tigers, they could never be written off, especially when playing at home.
Toward the middle, through for a base hit. The 0-1 pitch is grounded to right for a base hit, and it's 3-1. High in the air to deep left field. Coleman goes back. A grand slam.
Gladden's shot broke it wide open as the Twins jumped ahead 7-1, a lead which proved insurmountable for the National League winners.
Gaetti will end it on a nice play. The Twins win Game 1 of the '87 World Series.
Their offense may have slowed down during the second half, but it was explosive in the postseason, and in Game 2, they erupted for another big inning.
Shortchanged it. And he hits it into left field for a base hit. Gaetti comes in to score. Here comes the throw to the plate. Pena's tag is not in time. Three other games. Little looper down the line. That's trouble, and that's a base hit. And that will score another run.
This time, the Twins broke out with 6 runs in the fourth to bury the Cardinals in a hole their bats couldn't climb out of.
Hitting's contagious, and we spent all year long picking each other up. One guy's not swinging good, the other one picks a guy up, and so forth all the way down the line. And we've been swinging the bats pretty decent.
Up 2-0, everyone was coming to terms with an eventual series win for the Twins. But in St. Louis, their advantage started to slip away. A 3-run eighth crushed their dreams late, and the following night, another big inning brought the series level.
High drive to deep left field. Gladden goes all the way back at the fence. It's off. It's gone. His second major league home run. Quite timely.
After complete domination in the first 2, the Twins continued to unravel with their 3rd consecutive loss. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Their bats, which combined for 18 runs in the first 2, scored no more than 2 in St. Louis, and their pitching staff that initially halted the Cardinals lineup struggled to contain their slim leads. All in all, it was a disastrous 3-game stretch, which put their backs against the wall for the first time in the postseason.
I think, Al, that the Minnesota Twins are going to be playing this game today. Even though it's Game 6, they'll be playing it like it's Game 7, because after all, if they lose this ball game, they will be going home and have a long winter.
With a little margin for error, it didn't help that the Cardinals sent ace John Tudor on the mound. While he did struggle to reach his usual peaks due to a knee injury, once the playoffs began, he was back to his usual, nearly unstoppable self, posing an even greater challenge for the Twins. With this in mind, the home team was in for a long night, especially as their starter, Les Straker, found himself in trouble early.
In the air to deep right field, and Bernansky looking up at this one, and gone. Runner goes, and it's hit into right field for a base hit. Pendleton was running, and he scored.
Is doing well with the stuff he has.
And McGee hits one into right field for a base hit to score another run as Ozzie touches the plate, and the Cardinals now lead by a score of 5-2.
Halfway through the game, they trailed 5-2. With not much left to be played, it seemed like the Twins' magical season was drawing to a close. But with the backing of 55,000 dedicated fans inside the Metrodome, they motivated their team to keep pushing.
Morrison right, bottom of the 5th inning, and Puckett starts things with a base hit into center field. He's 3 for 3. 5 in the series against Tudor. And he hits this one down into the left field corner for extra bases. Coleman has it skip away, and then he falls down. Puckett will come in to score on a double. It's 5-3. To deep left field, and that one is gone. Forget the decimal meter, get the Richter scale.
In a matter of 5 pitches, the Twins erased their 3-run deficit, and it got even louder as Hrbek put the game firmly out of reach.
By 1. And Hrbek hits a high drive to deep center field. McGee goes back. Grand slam.
The grand slam homer over the center field fence. First pitch, 10-5 win.
With their Game 6 victory, the Twins improved to 5-0 at home during the playoffs. But in order to finish the job, they would need one more.
Isn't this the way it should be? You start at the end of February and you finish it on the 25th of October, one game for the championship. Put your feet up and settle back. It's a magical phrase in itself, the 7th game of the World Series.
As the Twins took the field, the dome buzzed with excitement, but by the 2nd inning, the energy was quickly deflated.
Another fastball, though, is wrapped into center for a base hit. Lindemann around third comes in to score, and he hits it into left field for a base hit. So another sudden hero. 2-0 as McGee scores.
Viola, one of the best pitchers in the sport, suffered 4 singles in the inning to put his team behind 2-0, although it was nothing they hadn't handled before, and right away they started to fight back.
And that's wrapped into center field for a base hit. Bernansky will come in to score, throw into second, getting back in there safely. It's 2-1.
Lombardozzi cut the lead in half, and a few innings later, Kirby brought them level.
Toward the gap in right center field for extra bases, up against the fence. Gaffney around third, on his way in, the game is tied on a double.
With the offense making its comeback, it overshadowed Viola's brilliance.
Frank Viola has set down 10 in a row.
As the Cardinals lineup remained neutralized, it gave time for the Twins to jump ahead.
Ground ball, Wallace stabs it, throws a one-hopper too late. Twins lead.
After taking the lead, the rowdy Metrodome fans were in ecstasy, knowing just a few innings separated them from witnessing their team hoist their first World Series trophy. For good measure, Gladden added another run in the 8th for insurance, setting the stage for Reardon to face the biggest save opportunity of his life.
To Gaetti, for the first time ever, the Minnesota Twins are the world champions.
They were out-hit, outslugged, and outpitched during the regular season. Yet when it mattered most, they rose to the occasion and proved they belong in the record books. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe as it would help me out a ton. Also, if you would like to learn about one of the greatest 5-year stretches in Major League history, including 4 World Series titles, the AL record for wins in a single season, and much more dominance, then click the video on your screen now.